Good evening, everybody. Nearly happy Hanukkah, so it's like happy Eve Hanukkah, happy Erev Hanukkah. We're nearly there. This time tomorrow is Hanukkah. We are on the footsteps of miracles, please God, that we're all going to see in our lives, we're going to see in Israel. In the merit of the Torah we're going to learn tonight, Hashem should help that merit go towards giving shmirah, first of all, to all our friends and loved ones who are right now fighting for our land. To all the Chayalei Tzava, Haganah Yisrael, Hashem should give them shmirah tonight and always, and give them protection. He should return all our hostages back now, Bezrat Hashem, so the miracle of Hanukkah can be the miracle of all the families reuniting. Hashem should protect all of Am Yisrael, in Eretz Yisrael, outside of Eretz Yisrael. And Bezrat Hashem, this Hanukkah, there should be mamash shalom, there should be peace in the world. We should see miracles. We should believe in miracles. There's going to be miracles. I'm crazy excited. This is not a good time to fight the Jewish people during 25th of Kislev. From tomorrow, the Greeks have tried before. It didn't work well for them. It's not going to work for Hamas. And Bezrat Hashem, we'll see very good news very soon. So thank you so much for coming, everybody. And just to let you know, because I think by the time we're going to get into the dream world, I'm going to be like flying and ascending to a whole different planet. So now it's just the time while my feet are still on the ground to let you know a little bit what's happening in these hallowed turf over the coming days. Tomorrow night, you're all invited. And I know that some of you are super excited to go through this story of Joseph and the dreams in more depth, like my friends over there. And tomorrow, you have to hold on 22 hours, and then all your questions can be asked. And we're going to go through textually to understand the story of Yosef and his brothers as a way of learning Torah during the lighting of the menorah. We're going to light the menorah, have some donuts. I've got a friend who's now going to bring amazing, hot, delicious cholent to all of you because he loves you so much. So you're going to have a hot food if you want to come, all free tomorrow night, followed by one of the most important things we've seen during this Hamas war, which has really done miracles, which is Hafrashat Challah. So now, every Thursday night, we're doing Hafrashat Challah. You're all invited to. There's going to be music. There's going to be a beautiful, mellow way to bring in Hanukkah. That's Thursday night. Friday night, very good. I've got you all here now. Let me know, please, if any of you want to come for meal, because we're speaking to the caterer in a few hours, and I have no idea. You know, it was crazy enough. I'm sure Jason and Dan can agree with that, to work out numbers before the war. During the war, go figure. There is no rhyme or reason to how many people are coming, and therefore, I really need, if any of you want to come, or any of your friends want to come, tell them they should really try and please book over the coming hours, because then I can give an accurate number to the caterer. Shabbat, we've got a whole new thing going on now, where basically, we have a lunch every week. So it's not just a kiddush with the whole Ben and Jerry's thing. We actually have a hot food lunch with schnitzel. So one of the things I've seen in Tel Aviv is actually a lot of people do loads and loads of Friday nights, but there's not that many Shabbat lunches. So now, you know, there's a space here you're all invited to. This is your space. If you want to come during Shabbat day, have a hot food, relax. We've actually bought a few new games, like different board games, and we're going to have like a space where Friday night and Shabbat day, if you want to come and just chill, be our guest. So that's during Shabbat Hanukkah. Then this place will transform into a casino. I'm from London. We're very, very serious about casinos, and there's normally a whole black tie. And people have said, "How strict are you on the whole black tie thing, Rabbi?" And in Tel Aviv, are we strict about anything? Of course not. But it would be nice if you were a little bit more, like, dress up a little bit for it. So I think we'll enjoy it more if we feel like a bit of James Bond thing going on. I brought in a company to come and create this space as a casino. There's going to be proper poker table, roulette table, blackjack table, other games. It's going to be great fun, awesome prizes. Everyone's going to go home a winner. So please come and enjoy Hanukkah. We're going to have a chef actually making hot donuts and hot latkes in the space. It's going to be fresh out the pan into your mouth. So please enjoy Hanukkah, and hope we're going to see you. Anyway, let's go into dreams. That's why we're here. Stand some Torah. Why have I picked this topic tonight? According to Kabbalah, every month in the month of Kislev has its own energy. It says the energy of Kislev is the energy of sleep. Question one is, why is Kislev sleep? Lama. How does that help? Every Hebrew month has a letter. Says the Bnei Yissaschar. Anyone know the letter of one of the alphabet? The letter of Kislev is a samach. Why a samach? Why sleep? Why a samach? Why is it that the whole of this month in the Torah, which creates its energy, it's all about dreams? It starts with Vayeishev Yaakov. Jacob's about to go into exile, and Hashem has a dream of Jacob's ladder. And now this week, it's got 4 dreams in this week. Joseph, what's the whole shtick about dreams? Anyone know the dreams? Dream number 1 is the wheat and the straw, and Joseph's there in the middle, and all the brothers who were the straws now bowing down to him, and he's got 11 of them all bowing down to him. Now, by the way, just saying, if you were Joseph and you've got the brothers that don't like you much, why would you start, winding them up and say, oh, I had a dream? Guess what? You were all bowing down to me. Is he like off his tree? And then if that's not bad, the next day he says, oh, I had another dream. And we were in the sky, and it was the 11 stars and the sun and the moon bowing down to me. Which, by the way, in Kabbalah is so deep. What he's saying is I'm the leader not only in the physical world with the straw and the wheat, I'm in the spiritual world too. Like I'm in charge both worlds. Both physically I'm the man, and spiritually I'm the man. By the way, we're going to learn a lot about dreams. Even from that dream about the sun and the moon, there's one very important law about your dreams that you're having in your lives. Rashi learns from there, based on Kabbalah, that every dream which is valid has to have something invalid in that dream. He calls it a dvarim b'telim. Anyone know what the invalid part of Joseph's second dream was? I'm sure my wife knows. Go on. The moon is his mum. His mum is no longer. His mum died, so she's not going to be bowing down to him. And then when Jacob heard that, it's, for sure, it's going to come true. In other words, when you have a dream and there's this like pig flying in the background, that's a sign that it could well come true. In other words, something impossible. When there's something impossible, maybe there's a relative there that's no longer alive and he's in the dream, that creates more validity to the dream. That's one law we learn from that. And then there's 2 more dreams. What's the next 2 dreams in this week's Sedra? Liz, what's the next dreams? The butler and the baker. So now Joseph, as you know the story, we can learn it tomorrow properly, rigorously. He gets sold to Egypt. He goes to Egypt. He's now in the prison in Egypt. He's at the lowest of the low. Can you imagine? Egypt spiritually is called a prison. Mitzrayim in Kabbalah is Meitzariyam, imprisonment at the spiritual level. He's now on the bottom. He's in prison in a prison. He's in prison in a prison. And what gets him out in the end is dreams. It's ironic. Dreams got him in the prison. Because of the dreams, his brothers hated him and were jealous of him and sold him. And by the way, they say this line which I struggle with. When they were about to sell him, they say, "V'hinei ba lachalomot ba," the dreamer's coming. Joseph was literally called the dreamer. And they said, "Nireh ma yeh cholomotav." Let's see what's going to become of his dreams. It's almost like an evil thing to say. And these are very holy brothers saying such an evil thing. We'll learn about it tomorrow. But you see that one of the key reasons why they sold him was because of his dreams. So the dreams gets him into prison, the dreams gets him out of prison. The butler and the baker had 2 dreams. They didn't know how to interpret it. He interpreted it for the better. For the, which one? Who gets to live? The butler. The butler lives. He goes back to Pharaoh. The baker dies. Joseph says that to him. And then in the end, Pharaoh himself has a dream, and it's all about dreams. What's the whole dream thing? What's the significance of dreams? One of my rabbis that really inspired me when I was younger, say this Dvatar in his merit, because that's who my friend Rabbi Kirsch heard it from. Rabbi Bernstein said this beautiful line. Listen to this. This is like inspiration number 1 coming up. I like to feed you with inspiration. Are you ready? Jackie, you like this one? Are you ready? Says Rabbi Bernstein, when all you do is talk about your dreams and think of achieving your dreams, things don't go well. But the moment you start talking about other people's dreams and try and actualize theirs, things get a lot better. When Joseph was talking about his own dreams, didn't go well. The moment, when does Joseph get out of prison? Let me help you with your dreams. My friends, if we can learn to help fulfill the dreams of others, says Rabbi Bernstein, that's really going to give you the magic to help, ironically, then fulfill your dreams. When sometimes we're so narrow-minded and selfish and self-absorbed in our own dreams, our ego starts getting in control. Not that I'm saying Yosef did, but it's a very deep point, profound. Yosef spoke about his dreams. He ended up in prison. He starts helping other people with their dreams. He becomes the king. That's just one idea. But Mazah dreams. What are dreams? So I just want to go in through a famous philosophical question, first of all, about a dream. See if anyone's studied philosophy here. Anyone a bit of philosophical mindset? I think Dan probably had this famous question.
Yeah, intro to human thought.
And the question is the following. It was a philosopher in 1974 called Robert Nozick who posited the following question in a book called Anarchy and Utopia. It's actually very connected to Greece. And he says the following question. And I want to ask you this question. I want you to really think about it and make an honest answer. If you had a choice that tonight, as a result of tonight, I'm going to share you to our rooftop, which you haven't seen yet, which has been full of new scientists. And in that rooftop, we have dream machines. And we have the ability, if you so choose, to link you into a dream machine. And in that dream machine, you get to choose your dreams. And by the way, when you have your dreams, it's really real. Like it's happening, right? When you're going through a dream, it's happening. So if I could put you in a dream machine, would you choose to do it? Let's say you could make the whole of your life for 120 years, or you want to get married, put it into the computer. You want 20 kids, put that into the computer. You want to be a billionaire, put that in. You want to have great holidays, put that in. You want to be the prime minister, the president, put that in. Who in this room would choose to go into that dream machine on the roof, and that's where you'll stay for the rest of your life, dreaming the best life you could ever possibly dream for? Would anyone in this room choose to do that? Put your hands up if you'd go for that. One, yes. Jason, yes. Anyone else? Anita? Jackie? Why? But make it, it's going to feel really, really like real life. Put that in the computer system. Say in the computer system, this has to feel more like real life than real life. Put that in. It'll be like real life. You won't know the difference. When you're dreaming, you don't know you're dreaming. So you'll be dreaming. You like Torah, you'll be learning with Rabbi Hill in the dream machine. It's fine. You can put me in every Wednesday night, 9:15. Whatever you want's in there. You can be the best version of yourself. You still don't want it? I'm not selling it to you yet? Yeah, are you swaying? Lama la. Anyone else? Come on, Gabe. My man. Why not? What's wrong with it?
It's not real.
What is real? As in Matrix. You know? What is real? By the way, just throwing it out there, is this real? Maybe we were dreaming this. How do you know you're not dreaming this? You don't. You can't prove it. So there's nothing to talk about. So maybe this is the dream machine. Haha. Maybe you were all put in the dream machine without realizing. That's deep. But let's say we're not. Let's say we are alive and you have a choice to go in that dream machine. Lucy, dream machine? Why not? Because by the way, we've spoken a bit over the past few years and there's some stuff that, some not very nice people sometimes you got to know. And you won't have to know them anymore. You could put the best jobs, the best apartments, the best one man, just the one. You could create your own fantasy Israeli man who's really nice and kind and truthful. Which, by the way, is a guy called Matanya there, who is one, right? Who's my guy I've met. And so it does exist. And you could, and therefore, not saying you're for Lucy, but I'm just saying that there's exist. So we've got someone to put into the dream machine, and you could have it all. You could have your cake and eat it. You could eat your cake and not have to put on weight. I'd definitely put that in the machine. I could have as many Cokes as I want. My teeth would be okay. My weight would still stay slim. What's the problem with it? Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, do you have to do it every night? Like if you start doing it, you have to keep doing it? Or can I
Yeah, no, that's it. You're in for life.
Oh.
What's wrong? You're in for... You could literally program 100... You want to live 130? Yalla, 130. How long do you want? 140? Whatever. 200. Do what you want. It's yours for eternity, if you want. What's the problem?
I don't want to think about that. Like, I don't want to have to stress about what the dream is.
Okay, so I'll decide it for you.
Are you okay?
If you want.
I don't know.
That's a ridiculous reason, right? That's a typical, like, bloke reason. It's too much work. It's like, you're going to dream forever. Where's the work in that, right? You're literally lying down. Okay, so the answer is, according to Kabbalah, and actually he says the same answer, the Greek Yevanim wanted the Jewish people to just live in the world of pleasure and ego and fun. And if life is about pleasure and ego and fun, you might as well be in a dream machine. It would make perfect sense if that's the goal. If your goal is, I want to have it all, I want to have pleasure, I want to be happy, be in a dream machine. But that's not why Hashem made the world. Hashem made the world, A, to have a relationship with Him, 2, for you to achieve genuinely. That's what you were really trying to say, Jackie. That's why your soul was fighting it, because your soul knew that it's fake. Your soul knew it's artificial. Your soul knew that then you get to the next world and you haven't done anything. You've just slept forever. So you haven't achieved, because life isn't just about what the Greeks deluded, thinking that it's about physical pleasure. It's about giving physical pleasure. It's about giving, not about taking. Next point, the Maharal says, why do we have dreams? Says the Maharal, the reason we have dreams is to teach you that there are times when you're convinced there's reality, and then you wake up and it was just a dream. Says the Maharal, you are sometimes, right now we're going through a difficult time in Israel. And there are some people now in hell through their family members going through October the 7th in a very direct way. But one day we'll wake up, and one day they will wake up, and they'll be okay. And they'll realize it's not as real as we seemed. You see, when we all go to the next world, that's what's real. And this world, in contrast, is considered a dream. Mamash a dream. Things which you felt was giving you so much pain and there's no way out. In the end, in Mamash, it's just like a dream. We're going to say this pasuk at the beginning and at the end, where we say in Shir Hamalot, in Psalm 136, Hayinu kacholmim. We're going to be like we dreamt. One opinion of what that means is when we get to Mashiach, when we get to the world to come, all our problems will seem like a dream. All our issues will seem like a dream. And it'll be, and by the way, and that's how tzaddiks and sometimes cope with this world. They don't get as caught up about it as some of us else. They're not stuck in this illusion of reality. It's not, things aren't as they say, it's not all as it seems to be. There's something deeper going on. That's the Maharal. But let's talk about your dreams and how to interpret your dreams. Let's do this. So the places where to look is the first and foremost, my favorite Kabbalist I like learning from is the Derech Hashem, the Ramchal. In the book Derech Hashem, in chapter 3, he goes and explains what a dream is. Here we go. Dreams are the following. There are 2 types of dreams which we need to differentiate. The majority of your dreams that you've dreamt, I think even the one, Anita, you told me about before, comes from your subconscious, either thinking or worrying or being caught on something which happens in the day. For example, how many times will you see a film and then you'll dream about it? How many times will you be involved in a saga and you'll dream about it? That's your subconscious. That's nothing to do with Hashem coming to you. That's nothing to do with angels coming to you. That's you coming to you. You're still thinking when you're sleeping, because sleep is the following. Do you know how many levels of soul do you have? Anyone? 5. Very good. What are they called? So we start at, so the highest one is called Yechida, and then goes to Chaya, and then goes to Neshama, and then goes to Ruach, and on the very bottom is called Nefesh, and it's only that which is left with you when you sleep. The definition of sleep, when you've really fallen asleep, is when your Ruach has left you to go to Gan Eden. But your Nefesh is still there, and your subconscious is still doing its thing. And if you've been a bit traumatized, or you've had a film that's really touched you, or an experience, sometimes you'll dream about that. If you've had a fear, sometimes you'll dream about that fear. And that's nothing to do with what we call a Kabbalistic dream, let's call it. It's nothing to do with a message dream. That's just you, and if you want to have happier dreams, be happier in the day. And if you want to have more positive dreams, be more positive in the day. And if you don't want to have nightmares, stop watching horror movies. Or the news right now, which is one long horror movie. Which I just have to say, like, be very careful what we're watching. Like, who says you, unless you're working for Mossad, right? If you're Mossad and you have to look at the footage, look at the footage. But if you're not, why are we putting footage in our soul and in our subconscious? And when we can't handle it, we're not cut out to handle such graphic violence and pain. But that's not the dreams we're going to speak about. That's just the psychological dreams. And by the way, there's a pasuk which defines those psychological dreams. And in Israel, it's quite known here. This is like one of the beautiful things about in Israel. Sometimes they're more religious than they realize, because I found out that they know this pasuk, which is a pasuk from Zechariah, chapter 10, verse 2. What? Anyone know the verse which says, it's just a dream? Tanya, do you know it? Shav. Anyone know what it goes? Chalamot shav yidaberu. The chalamot shav yidaberu. Zechariah says, it's just a dream. There's shtuyot. Shav. It's just shav. It's just nonsense. Most dreams are nonsense. Most dreams are your thoughts and your worries. So therefore, if you have, let's say, a bad dream, God forbid, you have a nightmare, sometimes we can say that nightmare is just a consequence of your psychology, and therefore just let it go. That's one type of dream. However, in Bamidbar, it says the pasuk, in chapter 12 in Bamidbar, Ubachalom adaber bo, where Hashem says, I speak to you in dreams. Hashem loves you so much. Hashem loves you and wants to communicate with you. And one of the ways Hashem communicates with you on a regular basis is through a dream. The Torah itself says it. And as a cons, we need to know what is the dream and then how to interpret it. Says the Maharsha, a very great rabbi born in 1555 in Krakow. And he says the following: there are 3 types of dreams, which are true dreams, but the real dreams. The first one's called a message dream. What's a message dream? So you've got, again, 5 levels of your soul. The ruach, your nefesh doesn't dream. Your nefesh is in your body. Your nefesh is like awake. Your ruach is the one that has the psychology dreams. The neshama has what's called the message dream. What's a message dream? A message dream is someone in the heavenly world is trying to give you a bit of a guide, and they're giving you this ambiguous message. And the first thing you need to know, and this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say tonight, if you ever want to tell your dream to someone, please pick who you tell it to really carefully. Only tell it to someone who loves you and is a positive person. Again, if they really love you, but they're like prophets of doom, and they see the negative everything, do not say your dreams to them. Because the Talmud says in Brachot, and if you want to look it up properly, and you want to study this whole piece, there's a whole chapter in the Talmud about dreams. It's in the tractate Brachot, page 55 to page 57, all about if you see a dream. And it says the first thing is, it goes after the interpretation. Do you know why the butler was saved? Because that's how Yosef interpreted it. Do you know why the baker died? Because that's how Yosef interpreted it.
Same with a prayer.
Nachon, but a dream, the Talmud says this crazy line, it's like an unopened letter. Think about it. It's an unopened letter, which means, who opens it and how do they interpret it? So for example, let's say you say, I had this dream where there was this like crocodile coming and I don't know what I'm talking about, and eating a bunny rabbit. The negative person is like, oh yeah, this is really bad. The positive person will somehow come with some crazy positive thing. So for example, the Baal Shem Tov, I'll give you an example. A lot of you, any of you had the dream about you've lost your teeth? Anyone had that? One's a classic one. And a lot of people, but for you, darling, it's because of your worrying about it all day, right? But you know, if Hashem comes and tells you about, hello, you lost your teeth, that's interesting. So a lot of people get very freaked out about it. Some people say teeth has to do with finance. But the Baal Shem Tov, someone came to the Baal Shem Tov and said to him, Baal Shem Tov, I had a nightmare last night, my teeth fell out. You know what the Baal Shem Tov said? Baruch Hashem. It's the first thing you need to say. Whenever someone tells you a dream, whatever they say, you say, Baruch Hashem, amazing. And the Baal Shem Tov says straight away, wow, that means you're not going to have the grind anymore. Meaning, he looked at it that your teeth has to go through grinding. And that's the pain of having to make livelihood. And he said, you won't have to go through that whole grinding experience. Hashem's going to bless you with tremendous money. He became very, very rich. It's this ambiguous message. Most dreams in that camp are this ambiguous message where it depends who interprets it and how they interpret it. And therefore pick someone who loves you, who's got your interest at heart, and who knows you to be positive. Because you could make any dream positive. And it's like a form, and it's up to you what you do with that. Yeah, Dan.
In that case, why did then Yaakov interpret the dreams in the way that he did?
Yaakov didn't interpret it badly.
Sorry, Yosef.
Which one? For who? For which dream?
For both of them, right? So you did.
Which one? Yosef's dreams or Yaakov or the butler and the bakers?
The butler and the bakers. So you interpreted the baker's dream negatively and the butler's dream positively.
Mm-hmm. Why did you do two positive?
Why did you do two positive?
Good question. Good question. It's a famous question. Dan, can we give a psh for Dan, please? 1, 2, 3. Psh. He just arrived off the boat, and he's on his Talmudic star, right? And it's a good question. They asked that, and one answer is, and it's a bit of a cynical answer, but sometimes we have to be cynical. It was more powerful to say to the butler, "You're going to live after the baker died." That became much more intense and much more like, "Oh my gosh, I owe him my life. I need to appreciate him and help him when I come out of prison." That's one answer. Another answer is maybe he knew that this was maybe not just a message dream, this was we're going to get to it, there's another type of dream, which is, this is going to happen. There's two types of dreams we're going to get to. Yeah.
Is there anything on the, I guess, kavanah versus the word? Because based on that, if you're saying that the dream is like an unopened envelope, I could go to a different dream interpreter, one whom I know will tell me falling off a cliff means I'm going to win the lottery instead of something else.
Yeah, and I would go to that unless he's nonsense, unless he's got no power. But in other words, I think the Baal Shem Tov, when he went to the Baal Shem Tov and said losing your teeth means you're going to make more money, so then he's getting a blessing and a dream. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of, that's why it's going to be very powerful, but there's no doubt. That's what the Gemara says. It's like an unopened letter. So for sure, if you want it interpreted, go to a person, good person.
People who open it, again, but if all interpreters don't interpret the same way.
Correct.
But those who interpret are all connected, tapped in.
Yeah.
Then for me, I would want my letter opened by someone whose track record would be favorable to at least
100%. 100%. Me'achos. Yeah.
You said it's
Bivrit kam, Hafsha.
when a person dreams about losing the teeth, so it depends about who's interpreting it. It's positive or negative. So what happens if, for this example, there's a Shulchan Aruch about it. But if a person dreams about
We'll get there. Remind me soon. Or no gamarti. Right, so just to show you again how Kabbalah works, it's so amazing. No other language has this. The word for dream in Hebrew is chalom. And this is a good example. How do you put the letters? So even the word chalom can, on one hand, those very, very same letters, has a lot of negative words. What's the negative words to the letters chalom? There's choleh, there's rega. So on one hand there's choleh, the sickness. Chol, which means profanity, secularity. So there's a lot of tremendous negativity in the dream. But then, those same letters could be incredibly positive. Incredible. Chayil, valor, go Michael al Chayil, lechem, bread, which is your livelihood. So you see, and by the way, you should know Kabbalistic, that's how it works. You know, I asked Jackie a Hebrew name, she said Esther. So Esther, when you are living up to your Esther, when you are doing beautiful spiritual things, your letters are Esther. When your Yetzer Hara starts controlling you, all of a sudden the letters start jumping in the spiritual world. And then other stuff happens. And our life is about where are our letters. And on a deep level, almost our letters are almost projecting us. It's very deep. So when we're not at our best, we create jumbling in the letters, and that creates balagan. Sometimes you have like bilbul in your mind, everything's like balagan, it's because your letters are balagan. So you see, life is about, I give you a gift, what you do with that gift's up to you. That's the first kind of dream. Second kind of dream is much deeper dream. That's the dream which is called a guiding dream, where you're actually being guided. Someone's coming to you. And this is where I freaked out and had a few of these. Where someone's literally coming to you and trying to guide. But then, this is where it gets really scary, sorry to say. You first of all got to know, are you being guided by the good side in heaven or the bad side in heaven? Because there's this, when Hashem gives the gift of the people in the world of the souls to be able to go and attach themselves to your chaya in Kabbalah, there's a fight between what's called the Shin Dalits, the demons, who want to try and harm you, or the higher souls, or the good angels. And you've got to know where it's coming from. That's the first thing. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from a good side or a bad side? So that's the first problem. Second, once again, same thing. Go to someone who loves you, positive. You be loving and positive. I'll give you a few of those dreams I've had. Number one, any of you dreams of someone who's passed away in your life? So maybe I want to hear about it soon. So probably the grandparent I was most closest to was my mother's father. I called him Grandpa. And I had a really incredible connection to him. I never dreamed of him. Never. Until I was about, 32 years old. Like, he died just after my bar mitzvah. 20 years later, he mamash comes to me in a dream. And you know when they come to you in a dream, when it's so real and you like wake up shaking. Any of you have those? Like when that type of dream, which is literally a soul coming to you and having a chat, you know about it. You don't like wake up and forget about it. Like, you know. And I knew, and he was, first of all, it was so beautiful. It was just so beautiful. And what's the beautiful thing is, and I saw a few people in a dream after they passed away, they looked so well, and so happy, and so healthy, and so much of their best, and so much love. But I had to ask my Kabbalist afterwards, like, what's going on? Like, now he's coming to me, and therefore it is important to speak to someone who can advise you what's the message. And the first and foremost normally is, do something for them. So I did this the first time in my life. I went to Leeds, found his grave. I hadn't gone to his grave. I don't think ever till that point. Probably maybe, even when he actually was buried, they didn't tell I was only 13, so I wasn't taken there. And it took me 20 years to go back, but he called me and I found, it was very hard to find his grave, and I found his grave, and we had chats, and I did some stakar, and who knows why. And do you know what happened very after that? I started teaching Genesis in Leeds. All of a sudden, it opened up spiritual doors in that town, and I started teaching Torah in that town. Very interesting. So we don't know why and when they come. Another of my crazy dreams. One day, I had this dream, I didn't understand it, that this rabbi called the Yedid Nefesh came to me and just said, come to me next time. It made no sense. Like, who is the Yedid Nefesh? Why is he coming to me? I thought, okay, from now on, every Shabbat, I need to say Yedid Nefesh really well. And I was like, Yedid Nefesh, and it was like, okay, and I looked him up, and it wasn't getting it. It didn't make any sense. Until it was just before Tisha B'Av, when I was in Bar Kochba with some of you guys doing a Tisha B'Av, and I was preparing a song called Bilvavi Mishkan Evner. And I just wanted to photocopy Bilvavi Mishkan Evner, and I put it into Google. And when I put it into Bilvavi Mishkan Evner, I found out it was also written by the Yedid Nefesh, whose name is, now I know very well, right, Rav Eliezer Askari, that's his name. And it shows in Google where he's buried. And now I understand why he came to me. Because my dear friends, he's buried right by the Ariya Kadosh in Tzfat. The Ariya Kadosh is here, and over here is the Yedid Nefesh. And guess what? One of my hobbies is to go to Tzfat. Take guys like you to Tzfat, to the Arizal. Every time I go and I pray to the Arizal, I'm praying to Hashem, obviously, and I'm praying by the Arizal's grave. And the very last time I went, we were in a big rush, and I had like a siddur or tehillim, and I just put the tehillim on the grave, and I left. And the Yedid Nefesh was saying, hello, I'm not just like chopped liver. I'm not just like a table for you to put your siddur. Come to me next time, I can help you. It was with love, it was beauty, and now when I go, I think, first you did nefesh, okay, I'm not going to forget again, and I've done teshuvah, I've repented, never leave your siddur on the grave of someone without saying hello. Big mistake, and crazy that the tzaddik comes to me. So that's what we call the message dreams. That's the message dream. And then the third type of dream, the vast dream, is literally when they say the kisei kavod comes to you, when you're sometimes seeing a premonition, you're seeing, and by the way, the premonition, that's going to happen. I'll give you an example of when that happened to me. I think I told some of you this before. A few years back, again in Tel Aviv. These dreams in Tel Aviv, it's quite cool. In Tel Aviv, I was trying to work out when I go back for my daughter's having a baby a few years back, and I wasn't sure, was it going to be a guy, was it going to be a girl, was it a guy? I hope it wasn't going to be a guy. Was it a boy or a girl? And was it going to be a Brit Milah? And anyway, I had the dream. In my dream, the following scene I saw. My daughter Brachi said to me, Daddy, pass me Shani. And I saw this beautiful baby girl. And the baby girl was still in my daughter's womb. And we didn't know if it was a girl. And we definitely didn't know if she was going to be called Shani. So just to prove that I'm not lying to you, I WhatsApp messaged my daughter the next morning and said, Brach, having a girl and you're going to call her Shani. And anyway, she had a girl and she called her Shani, and I saw Shani. It was Shani. And here's the thing, when we sleep, we go into this space which is above time and space. We go into a place where everything's already happened, and sometimes it comes down to a dream, and that's really sometimes what deja vus are. A deja vu can be, you've seen it before. You've no idea what we're up to when we sleep. When you're dancing in the garden, seeing things, knowing things, and sometimes it comes down to your subconscious. So that's how he explains it. But now I just want to... Yes, Liz?
What is the point of that kind of premonition? Why would you have something like that? Just because you'll eventually find out that you're just having.
Oh, that's a good point. For me, it really helped me with my tickets, because I didn't buy a plane ticket because I was worried it was a boy, and then it was the Brit Milah, and straight away I bought the right ticket, so it really helped me much. And it also now gives me the opportunity to tell you about that we can see these kind of dreams. 2 benefits. 3, I've got this crazy relationship with Shani now because I saw before anyone. How cool is that? And I don't know. Good question. But you're right. And why does Hashem come sometimes, but not other times? You know, practically what my friend over there was saying halachically, a few very important in halacha, if you have a dream, even on Shabbat, for example, and it's a bad nightmare, then here's the thing. Firstly, when you have a nightmare, I would really recommend you to assume it was probably just the nonsense dream. And then you should say straight away. It's a shav, it's a shtuyot. Right, shtuyot. First thing, just say shtuyot. If it really still affecting you and holding you, and you think maybe it's one of those other 3 dreams, you can do a few things. You can do something called, and I recommend it, chatafat chalom, which means a cancellation of the dream, where you find 3 rabbis, and I'm happy to find another couple of us, and I've done this quite a few times. We have a ceremony where you say some formula, and we cancel the dream, and it's cancelled. We normally ask you to give a bit of charity, take on a mitzvah. That does cancellation of the dream. If it's really serious, and chas v'shalom, something horrific happens, we then recommend to even fast, and there's a big machloket, but most people hold you can even fast on Shabbat. You can even fast on Shabbat, which is a big thing. Shabbat you're not allowed to fast. Shows the sincerity and the importance of trying to get rid of some of these dreams. But here's what I really want to go with you. Yeah, Dan?
Finish your thought.
No, I've finished my thought, and I'm going to something else. So.
Okay, sure. Quick question.
Yeah.
I think some of us I at least get disconnected from my dreams. Sometimes I don't remember a lot of my dreams. How do you kind of reconnect to that and to that world?
So I'm not even sure if you need to, and I really think sometimes it's better not to. And I really feel if anyone comes to you in a dream, you're going to remember. Most people dream shtuyot. The majority of dreams are nonsense. Like your nonsense thoughts in the day, that's what most of our dreams are like. So I can assure you, there's something Hashem wants you to remember, you're going to remember it. And maybe there's different phases in your life. You know, we just met. You told me you're a traveler. My thing is, when you're less of a traveler, more of a builder and serene and really growing and really connecting. Just came to Israel. This is a world, this country of dreams. the higher you get in your spiritual frequency, you start dreaming more and more deeper things start being revealed to you. I'll never forget one of my best dreams of my life. And it was only because I literally was like studying in yeshiva like I've never studied before. Hours and hours and hours. There was this piece of Talmud which I didn't understand, the Tosfot I really didn't understand, and I was grappling with it for hours and hours. I fell asleep. I promise you he came to me in a dream. The Bali Tosfot came to me in a dream and I knew the answer. He told me the answer. And that's quite common if you're fully invested in the spiritual world. Fully in. If you're all in, crazy fast things can start happening. So it will happen if it's meant to happen, and the higher you go spiritually and the more grounded you are and the more spiritual you are, you'll definitely dream more. What I really want to get to is, for me, the most important part of tonight. So please don't go anywhere for the last 10 minutes, because this is kind of the punchline. This is kind of the crux of it. Because why is it Hanukkah dreams? Why are we learning about Yosef's dreams and Yaakov's dreams? And why is Kislev the month of sleeping? And here we go. And this is so relevant to the war, and it's so relevant to where the world is. And this is the reason why all of you have come in here tonight. You see, my friends, Kislev is the darkest month of the year. As you know, Shabbat is now the earliest it will be. This is as dark as it gets. And we're living in a world where it's as dark as it gets. And it's rarely been darker. And that means Hashem's light is hidden to the extent where there's chaos and tragedy and evil and pain and hell and everyone's sleeping and things aren't easy and things aren't blossoming. There's no blossom yet. It's not Tu B'Shvat yet, and things aren't flowing yet, and business isn't coming easy, and things are grind. And Hashem wants to tell you that in your dream you'll find him. In your sleep you'll find him. The Bnei Yisrael says the Samach stands for Somech Noflim. He supports those who fall. Everyone's falling now. The world's falling. But Hanukkah's about, and from tomorrow night is about, to know that Hashem is communicating to you through the dream. He's there. He hasn't forgotten. He's not extinguished. And when you light that Hanukkah light tomorrow night, I want you to do the following. As Rav Kook says, dreams are a big deal. Dream big. Rav Kook writes that Chalomot Gadolot is Yesod Shel HaOlam. The foundation of the world is to dream big. When you dream big in Hanukkah, by the candles, it's huge. Meaning, my friends, I want you to dream with your eyes open. Don't just dream when you're asleep, dream when you're awake. The great tzaddik called the Ponovitch Arov was someone who survived the Holocaust. His whole family was destroyed in the Holocaust. And yet he came to Israel, and he came a few miles away to a place called Bnei Brak, before it was the way it looks now, and said, I am going to build a Torah community here. And they thought he was deranged. And he said, we're going to do it, and we're going to build this, and we're going to build that. And they said, you're a dreamer. And he said, no, I'm just dreaming when I'm awake. And if you in life are really ambitious, and you're dreaming big, and people say to you, you're a dreamer, even better. Ironically, when they said to Yosef, Bal Chalamot, it was a compliment, not an insult. We want to be a Bal Chalamot. We want to be dreamers when we're awake. We want to dream big. If you dream big, big things will happen. If you dream small, small things will happen. If you dream average, average things will happen. We live. Our lechem, says the Rav Kook, comes as a machalom. How you dream is what you get out of life. There's a beautiful story. It's actually a sad story. I heard from Rav Weinberger. In Auschwitz, there was a guy called Naftali. He was in the barracks. And in the middle of the night, he saw a guy from the top barracks called Shmuel getting down from his barracks without shoes. And you always wore shoes. Shoes kept you alive in Auschwitz. He hadn't enough shoes. Where's the shoes? And he got down. And what he had done is he'd sold his shoes for the ability to light a menorah. And he got a candle and he got a light in the middle of Auschwitz. Tomorrow night, 75-ish years ago. He lit a menorah and he made the bracha. Asa nisim bezman hazeh. In Auschwitz. Naftali saw with his own eyes. They were still in Auschwitz. And it was still the Holocaust, and the Nazis walked in. And they started screaming and shouting. They said, you think. And unfortunately, on first night Hanukkah, they shot Shaul in the head. And he died, and they carried him out. And Naftali says the story, but they forgot to extinguish the candle. They were so excited that they killed a Jew. They let the candle burn. And Naftali says for the rest of his life, whatever he went through, he thought of that candle burning. And he said, whatever I go through, however tough it is, I'll know the candle always burns. Hashem is always there. The Jewish people will always survive. My dreams can be fulfilled somehow, some way. That candle represents our dreams. That's why we light the candle. From nothing, and then it's the pintel yid, it's that optimistic, spiritual part of God within you which never dies, is never extinguished. To finish off, the Ariya Kadosh says there's something called Mochin de Gadlus, your higher consciousness. Most of us are living our life on our lower selves. But however we're involved in society, however dark it is, there is this thing called Mochin de Gadlus. There's this higher consciousness which is just wanting to get out. Do you know what the Kabbalists say the light of Hanukkah is? It's the Orosh HaMashiach. It's the same light which we're going to see when Mashiach comes. Kislev means the hiddenness of Lamed Vav. 36. Says the Bnei Yisachar, there were 36 hours of light when Hashem made the world. In the Gan Eden, when Adam and Eve was in the Garden of Eden, the first 12 hours of the garden, and then the 24 hours of Shabbos, Hashem's light, revealed light, shone through, illuminated in the light. And as a consequence of the sin, it went. And it comes out of the 36 candles of the menorah. The menorah is big. It's the Orosh HaMashiach. A Kabbalist told me just this morning, in the world of the Kabbalists, they're saying, the generation we're living in now, right now, they said, after COVID, Mashiach, it wasn't ready. I literally heard from one of my guys this morning, they're saying, he's ready. We have to do something, and he's waiting by the door. Mashiach's literally waiting by the door. This is big. The whole world is being affected by what's happening, meaning this is a macro moment. A macro moment. This Hanukkah is big. This Hanukkah could be the catalyst to bring Mashiach, which people are hoping maybe in Nisan and Geula. But this is something very, very big. And therefore, we need to bring Mashiach through our dreams. And therefore, I urge you, when you light the menorah, don't just think of yourself. Dream for yourself, for sure. And you need to dream for yourself, but also dream for the hostages and dream for the soldiers, but dream for the world. Dream for Mashiach. Dream for Mashiach. That's the Ani Ma'amin Be'emunah Shlema. The desiring for Mashiach to come, that messianic desire within us, that piece of Mashiach within us, the fact that every soul has experienced Mashiach, just like I saw my daughter, my soul and our souls have all seen Mashiach. Rabbi Yosef, before he died, he left a lasting message, and I'll finish with this. Rabbi Yosef said to his family, I had a dream last night, and I saw it happening. I saw the Bet HaMikdash. I saw Mashiach. And this is what he said he saw. He saw that Mashiach asked for lots of little kids who were in the school, in the Torah schools, to come in. And he made the following. He goes, now we've got the Bet HaMikdash. All of Am Yisrael want to learn the Torah. So I want all of you who know to teach those that don't know. And that was his lasting message. He could see it. We have to learn to see it. Those candles, the mystics say, when you look through the candle of Hanukkah, you're seeing not just reality, you're seeing the future. Ezrat Hashem, we should see that future. We should see the future of Mashiach. We should see the future of the Shalom. We should see the future of your big dreams being fulfilled. Bezat Hashem. Wish you all a happy Hanukkah and a good dream. Thank you. Hanukkah Sameach. Any questions? Happy to take any questions. And as I said, if anyone chas v'shalom ever has a terrible dream, then we can do the cancellation. But to be honest, it's really critical to look at it positive, to build it up. Ken?